Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video I'd like to talk to you about some of the good news, in fact some of the great news that's been coming out as we approach the end of September, the end of the third quarter, as well as 2020. Now before I jump into the details of this video, I would like to ask you guys to please like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the releases that we put up every Friday talking about something that will benefit you in your trucking businesses and in your trucking careers, as well as covering the loads that we've successfully booked for our customers, consisting of leased on owner operators and carriers operating under their own MC authorities running under our truck dispatch services. Thank you for the likes, guys. Let's jump in. Those of you who follow this channel may remember a video that I had released back in April. It was on April 8th, 2020. I'll leave a little link up here in the corners. You can go ahead and take a look at that video. Now, this video was designed to help carriers who were really struggling during that time with the extremely low rates, barely any loads on the freight market. A lot of truck drivers were sitting at truck stops just waiting for their dispatchers to get in touch with them. Luckily, our dispatchers were able to handle things, but the rates were still low, and we were trying to get drivers to understand that it was really important that they would take the freight that dispatchers were booking for them in order to stay afloat and stay in business so they could benefit from the influx of freight that would come in later this year that we saw. In fact, April 2020 statistically was the worst month for transportation, for trucking, for logistics, and that has started to improve from mid-May, and it kept on improving all the way up to August. August was seen as the best month of 2020 for trucking, and the reason that we're seeing that is because analysts actually upgraded a lot of their estimates. They actually believe that we're going to do an amazing job with closing off the year. We're going to absolutely close it off with a bang. Third quarter, fourth quarter looks to be amazing. And they're saying that 2021, first quarter of 2021 has a lot of good high expectations. So we have a lot to look forward to. Let's definitely close off 2020 with a bang and start off with 2021 on the right foot. But with that said, why is this happening? Well, the reason for it is a lot like what I mentioned in the videos. If you watch that, basically, a lot of product was going out, nothing was coming in. So there was, basically restocking needed to happen, and that's what we were waiting for. So at this moment, what we're seeing is a replenishment of significantly, depleted inventory. So major restocking of stores, warehouses, distribution centers, and in turn, tonnage went up through the roof year to year in August. And what's actually happening is that consumer behavior has changed because of all this, of all the pandemic and all the stuff that's been going on in the world. Consumers used to buy experiences. They used to buy services. Now, though, they've changed their tune, and now they're buying hard goods. So they're replenishing their, pantries, their, whatever that is missing in their homes, etc., etc. And a lot of guys, a lot of people are, I wouldn't say panic buying, but maybe prepping for whatever may be around the corner. E-commerce websites are being used more than ever before. They've seen sales up by 45% year to year, and that's really driven a lot of the sales now, because websites like Amazon have really benefited from this, including even brick and mortar traditional stores like Walmart who have websites, and folks don't want to go to the store, so they order stuff online. Well, that product has to get to a warehouse, has to get to a distribution center before it can actually get packaged and sent over to their front door. So they've seen a lot in e-commerce. Another segment that's been doing very well has been housing. The housing market is at an all-time high. The housing market index has been just going through the roof, and part of the reason for that growth is actually something you may have seen not too long ago in the news. Interest rates have been announced by the Fed to be kept at near 0% all the way through to 2023, which would benefit the consumer, it would benefit the builders, and in turn it would also benefit the flatbed and step deck carriers that would carry that construction material to the construction sites. And another issue that's been seeing that, and this is one of the reasons why prices have gone up, is because of carrier bankruptcies. During 2020, because of the pandemic, because of the huge losses in the market, because of the drops, a lot of companies unfortunately have had to go out of business. A lot of these guys have been in business for decades, and unfortunately, truly unfortunately, they've had to go out of business and call it quits. That is, lowered the amount of trucks available to move freight, which obviously drives the rates up. Another problem has been low truck orders in 2019, which carried over into 2020, especially with the pandemic having to close down a lot of the manufacturing plants, which could not keep up with the manufacturing of brand new trucks. And there's a huge backlog of those sitting around. A lot of drivers chose not to drive during COVID for one of two reasons. Usually it was either because they were concerned about catching COVID, would rather not go out there, or because of the stimulus checks that were coming in from the federal and state governments, and so they just chose to collect that money instead of going out to work. But that workforce is now trickling back into the industry, and we may actually start seeing the rates to taper down a little bit. Now, another thing that I didn't know about, is kind of interesting, 30,000 drivers have actually failed drug tests. And my question is, what happens when the hair follicle testing is enacted, which is supposed to happen quite soon? I mean, can you imagine what happens to the industry at that point? So 30,000 drivers failed drug tests, and unfortunately, driver school enrollment has also been low. We've had this problem since 2018, and it continues to go in that same direction. There's not much interest of becoming a truck driver in 2020. All in all, this is all looking like we're going to lose about 200,000 drivers by the end of 2020. But in conclusion, all of the things that I've just mentioned will only help to increase spot market pricing. And guys, if you've got any value out of this video, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button if you haven't done so. In a moment, I'm going to switch over the camera, and we're going to look over some of the loads that we've booked for our customers. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, guys, welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these loads. Now, we're going to start off with some Reefer Freight coming out of Columbus, Ohio, going to Decatur, Illinois. This was actually a dry load running in a reefer. It was a load of beer, 346 miles, going at $1,100, which got them $318 per mile. Then we got a load coming right out of Decatur, zero deadhead, going to Kearney, Nebraska. This was a dry load again, running in a reefer. Palletized seeds at 35,000 pounds, exactly 600 miles, booked at $3 a mile, which got them $1,800. Then they took a load out of Norfolk, Nebraska, going to Burnsville, Minnesota, which got them a load of Pepsi. It was a full load, 338 miles, $1,130 booked, which got them $334 per mile. Then they took a load out of New Ulm, Minnesota, going to Springfield, Missouri, 34 degrees, food, 43.5 on the weight, was 595 miles, booked at $2,500, which got them $420 per mile. All in all, these guys ran Monday to Friday. Ultimately, only had about 4 days of actual work. Still ended up booking $6,530, which got them an average of $348 per mile. Not bad. $3.5 a mile average, running only 4 days of work. I'd take it. Then we got some flatbed runs. Looks like Cedar Hill, Texas, going out to San Bernardino, California. It was a load of wood, 44,000 pounds. Some tarping was needed. It was 1,393 miles, booked at $3,700, which got them $266 per mile. Then they took a load out of Compton, California, and took it to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. As you know, California is not the greatest place to come out with a flatbed, but this was a good run at 1,816 miles, booked at also $3,700, which got them $204 per mile. It was a load of steel coils on skids, 44,000 pounds, needed tarping, dunnage, and straps to secure the load. All in all, they ended up running Monday to Monday, ended up getting their 34-hour reset in during that time, and in that week, they ended up making $7,400 gross, averaged $231 per mile on their 3,209 miles. Then we got some van loads. These are teams coming out of Dallas, Texas. All one pick, one drop. It was a paper load, 42,000 pounds, coming out of Dallas, going to Claremont, North Carolina. It was 1,037 miles, booked at $2,300, which got them $222 per mile. Then they took a load out of Newton, North Carolina, going to Las Vegas. It was 29,000 pounds of carts, 2,168 miles, booked at $3,500, which got them $1.61 per mile. And then they took a load out of San Bernardino, California, going to Charlotte, North Carolina. It was a load of audiovisual equipment at 30,000 pounds, 2,368 miles on that one, booked at $6,200, which got them $262 per mile. All in all, they ended up actually getting Sunday to Monday runs, averaged $12,000 on the dot for the week. Sunday to Monday, averaged $215 per mile and ran 5,573 miles. Then we have some van loads. These are solos coming out of Zanesville, Ohio, going to Grand Prairie, Texas. All of these runs are going to be one pick, one drop. This one was 1,105 miles, booked at $2,400, which got them $217 per mile average for a 41,000 pound load of general merchandise. Then it took a load out of Irving, Texas, going to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 40,000 pound load of batteries. It was a real short run, 202 miles, and it was loaded really late, and it was a short run because the driver spent half of his day in a shop repairing repairing his truck and was really low on his hours. So 202 miles, booked at $800, still got him $396 per mile. And the next day they took a load out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, going out to Omaha, Nebraska. This was 35,000 pounds of stretch film, 381 miles, booked at $1,300, which got him $341 per mile. Then they took a load out of Council Bluffs, Illinois, Iowa, going to Ellsworth, Wisconsin. This was 10,000 pounds of memory foam, super light load at 385 miles, booked at $1,050. $273 per mile. And then finally it took a load out of Menominee, Wisconsin, going to Shelby, Iowa. That was a load of windows at 30,000 pounds, 402 miles, booked at $1,400, $348 per mile. All in all, these guys ran Friday to Friday. That got them a gross of $6,950 and an average of $281 per mile loaded and $257 per mile with deadhead. Then we have some solo runs, also dry van coming out of Depew, New York, going to Rosenberg, Texas, 42,000 pounds of food product. And this was 1,520 miles, booked at $3,200, which got them $211 per mile. Then they took a load out of Port Arthur, Texas, going to Jenks, Oklahoma, 44,000 pounds of paper pulp, 492 miles, booked at $1,500, which got them $305 per mile. Then they took a load out of Henrietta, Oklahoma, going to Owensboro, Kentucky, 42,000 pounds of glass, 647 miles, booked at $1,700, which got them $263 per mile. And all in all, they ran Friday to Wednesday, ended up grossing $6,400 for that period, averaged $241 per mile loaded, $222 per mile with deadhead, ran 2,659 miles. Next, we have some solo runs coming out of St. Peter, Minnesota, going to Orlando, Florida. It's a dry van run, coming with some construction materials, 1,518 miles, booked at $5,000, which got them $329 per mile. Then they took a load out of Cloquet, Georgia. Hopefully I said that right. Going to Rochester, New York. It was a one pick, one drop, gas tankers, 1,188 miles on this one, $2,150 dollars booked. That gave them a $1.81 average. All in all, they ran Friday to Friday, ended up getting their 34-hour reset in, and that reset took from Monday to Wednesday, and still ended up grossing $7,150 for that time period. They ran 2,706 miles and averaged 264 per mile. Excellent. Then we got some dry vans coming out of Chestertown, Maryland, going to East Syracuse, New York. It was all one pick, one drop runs. This one was super light at 2,000 pounds of tractor parts, 329 miles, booked at $1,500, which got them $456 per mile. Then they took a load out of Solvay, New York, going to Crescent, Pennsylvania. This was 294 miles, 42,000 pounds of dry components, and booked at $1,300, which got them $442 per mile. Then they took a load out of Carnegie, Pennsylvania, going to Lodi, New Jersey, 42,000 pounds of general goods. This was 368 miles, booked at $1,500, which got them $408 per mile. And then they took a load out of Piscataway, New Jersey, going to Buffalo, New York. This was 38,000 pounds of dry food, 363 miles, booked at $1,400, which got them $386 per mile. All in all, these guys ran Monday to Friday, but only 4 days of work. They actually grossed 5,702 miles dollars, and that got them 1,354 miles at $421 per mile. So again, 5,702 on the dollars, 1,354 on the miles, 421 average per mile. Excellent rate. Now we have some van rates coming out of Commerce City, Colorado, going to Pocatello, Idaho, 4,000 pounds of general goods, very light load, 576 miles, booked at $1,450, which got them $252 per mile. Then they took a load out of Clearfield, Utah, going to Spokane, Washington, 42,000 pounds of plastic materials, 680 miles, booked at $1,800, which got them $265 per mile. And finally took a load out of Walla Walla, Washington, going to Cheyenne, Wyoming, 986 miles with 44.5 on the way to miscellaneous food products, 986 miles, booked at $4,000, which got him $406 per mile. This guy ended up running Friday to Friday, ended up booking $7,253 in gross, 2,240 miles ran, and averaged $324 per loaded mile. If you guys want to make this kind of money, if you want to take advantage of high freight rates, and you don't want to deal with paperwork, dealing with brokers, making hundreds of calls, calling insurance, dealing with packets, blah, 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 and you want to get the good money, we got you handled. If you are an owner-operator looking for a really good company you can lease on with, get the same type of rates, get treated very, very well, and have a very attractive inexpensive lease-on program, certainly give us a call. We can be reached at 801-448-6363. Call or text that number. We will get back to you. You can also get more information in the description box below. You can also go to our website at aftdispatch.com. All the information's there, and there's a chat box. You can leave a message there. We will get back to you within one day or less. Just make sure to leave your email address there so we know where to send it to. Thanks for your time, guys. Definitely appreciate you. Please hit the like button on this video. It really helps us quite a lot. And until next week, stay healthy, be wealthy. Take care.